We are live.
We are. Hi, everyone. John?
Hello. I've got my camera off right now because I look particularly shit tonight. But we just want to welcome you here to the Abundant Artists. That lady right there is your host, Olive Chiacchia. And I sincerely hope that all of you watching this will glean something that will change, touch, and mold your lives. Because if this episode is anything like the first one is, it's going to be just a powerful experience. And so, without further ado, I will turn it over to the wonderful and incredible Olive Chiacchia.
Hi, everyone. My name is Olive. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. So, if you weren't here last week, I'll just tell you a little bit about Abundant Artists. Abundant Artists is a show that I just started where I teach people about how to be creative in and abundant in the creative space by kind of combining my love of art and spirituality together to improve the amount of opportunities I've had and to bring more abundance and wealth into my life. So the tools I'm going to be sharing with you are tools that you can use in any aspect. It doesn't have to be creative. You can use these tools at work. You can use these tools in business or with your children or wherever you want. But I've just found them to be really helpful in my artistic career and to provide for me fully. So I really hope you enjoy, and I hope that these tips are really helpful for you today. So last week we went on a mental diet. So we talked a lot about all of the things. So when we're talking about manifesting and the manifestation process, a lot of times we really focus on what we want to manifest and like what we want to talk about more. However, what's more important than that a lot of people really miss is what we don't want to think about, what we don't want to talk about, where we don't want to put our attention anymore, because that is actually more important. Our minds are so powerful, and our thoughts are more powerful than a lot of people give credit to, because the most power and the most magic you have in this world happen in your thoughts. While many people's thoughts, they tend to wander, and we have too many thoughts. We just think all day. We're overthinkers. How many people here are overthinkers? I certainly am one. So when you are thinking all the time and you're not living, what happens is you get out of your feelings. And what I do in my new practice, in the new wisdom that I find joy in, is that I live in my feelings. So, as children, you're at the playground and people are always saying, oh, like thinking, don't follow your feelings. Like we actually are brought up to like not follow our guts and not follow our feelings. Like think about children when they're eating, they all eat very intuitively, right? Oh, I feel hungry. I feel like a popsicle. I feel like this. I'm full. Like most children actually authentically will eat intuitively. I always think this is a good example because of how abundant eating disorders have unfortunately become in our culture. But when it's like adults get in the way, adults are like, no, we're going to tell you to eat a salad then, and then you're going to eat ice cream later. When the kid honestly would have probably just had ice cream and then the salad, and it would have been fine. So we're going to go back to being a kid tonight, because that's really, kids are the smartest here in a lot of ways. And I think that's something that's really important to remember. So following your feelings is kind of like that. They're your angels, they're your guidance. So if you stay in a positive central feeling place, you will always have guidance to your next step. When you get out of your feelings and you get stuck in your thoughts, you're not really as in touch with your body. So something that I learned this week from one of my colleagues in the spiritual community was that since so many of us creatives have such a hard time with staying in our bodies, which is important for your feelings because your feelings are in your bodies. We need to feel our feelings in our bodies to know where to go next. And I've learned that, a lot of times people will channel from above. So you'll get this like download or something and people say, oh, connect to spirit. So then you go, oh yeah, let me connect up. Like, hello spirit, where are you? We're not going to do that anymore. We're going to connect down. Well, you can connect up too. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say never, but like we are going to start connecting down with the earth because us spiritual creatives have a really hard time with grounding. So how many people here have a hard time with grounding? I know I'm not alone. So instead of trying to, bring my crown chakra, might be familiar with the chakras, to the sky, I'm like, I'm really good at that. I'm like always up there. I live in the sky. I was almost a flight attendant. I think it was because my head's always in the clouds. Anyways, we're going to build roots instead. So that's something that I think is really good at keeping us in our centered feeling places. So from our centered feeling places, something that many people want to do is manifest. Why are we manifesting? Not to be rich, famous, and like rule the world or anything that's like hyper egotistical. We're not going to touch that. We're manifesting things that bring us joy and more fun that we can live without because we're not going to get attached, right? But things that we're just going to do it for the fun of it. It's not because we need anything, because something about living in this wisdom of joy and living in peace is that you don't get to choose if you're in peace. Like, it's not going to be a conditional thing. So like, we're going to try this manifestation and maybe it'll work and it'll become exactly the way it is. So like, I'll give you an example. One time I manifested because I really felt this calling, and it wasn't something where I wanted to be like rich or famous or like, ooh, TV. It does have to do with television, but it wasn't the purpose. I think that if it was more egotistical, I would have been like the super sexy, like cheerleader girl. But I was like, I'm going to be the quirky, weird best friend on a sitcom. And I just wrote it down and I lived in that feeling place and I did all the steps. And actually it happened. It did. So actually it happened 3 times. So I was like, wow, I really must be onto something here. But part of that is that I needed to be okay and know that if it didn't happen, that something even better was coming my way. So when your manifestations don't come true, it's kind of like guardrails, because that means that my ego made a mistake and thought that there was something that I needed that would have been good for my life, and it wasn't. So, spirit had a better plan for me and I decided to follow that. So with keeping all those things in mind and our mental diet, and what did we diet from last week? We took a diet from negative thoughts. We weren't going to pressure ourselves. We were going to take off all of no hurry, no worry, no pressure. We were just going to live. I know it's easier said than done. And let me tell you, I fell into my I need to go on another mental diet this week because even I had a hard time with it. And I'm sure you did too, because I don't know how many people out here are into astrology, but I'm going to bring it up really quick. I'm going to bring it up quick because Sunday was Mercury Retrograde, which is, Mercury Retrograde. The computer stopped working. My Instagram stopped working today. Like everything, like someone gets a flat tire, somebody else shows up with everything just goes like funky wonky, during Mercury Retrograde. Feelings are crazy. Impulses are off. It's a really weird time. Throw Venus retrograde on top of that, right? So Venus retrograde has been going on for almost a month now. I think actually about a month now. And we still have a few weeks left. And that's all about like your values and relationships. It's going to bring up a bunch of relationship stuff. Your exes are going to come out of the corners. It's going to be a weird ass time. And then it was the full moon in Cancer on Monday. So I have a feeling that a lot of us are feeling a little wonky right now. So if you did end up having a hard time with the mental diet, don't judge. Don't judge yourself. I was working on this all day. I was like, oh man, my mental diet was shit this week. So it was my physical one, but like, we're not even going to get into that. But so if, you struggled with that last week, I just keep trying. Just keep practicing the best you can. See, my lights flickered. My guys were like, you got this. All right, great. So without further ado, we're going to go into the little formula that we've created for manifesting. And this is called FAST, which is actually really ironic because it's FAST. So the acronym is FAST. But in this life, when we're living in the wisdom of joy and we're living in our feeling space, there's 2 speeds, and it's slow and stop. So kind of ironic. Just thought I'd say that real quick. But anyways, like we've been talking this whole time, it's really all about the feelings. So when you are doing something for the law of attraction, you are going to write down, or however you feel it is best. So like for you, we should probably use an example. What should the example be? I'm going to manifest. Ooh, I know. I need another big donation for the pilot that I'm producing. So I'm gonna $20,000. Let's just say. Let's say I wanted to manifest $20,000. Okay. I am going to live in the feeling space that I already have it. So you always have to make sure it's present tense. So that's something that all law of attractions teachers will show you, that you have to do everything in the present. It didn't already happen. It's not going to happen. It's happening right now. So I'm not only going to say I have $20,000. I'm going to live in the feeling space that when I look at my bank account, it's going to have $20,000 in it. And I'm going to go, huh. And then just sit with it. Like, how does that feel? Do I like it? Is it comfortable? Like, what does that do for me? Like, what does that abundance do for my body? So you really kind of sit in that, and you don't even have to think so much about the $20,000. You don't even have to say the $20,000, but you do need to live in the feeling space. So if you were sitting there and writing, I have $20,000 down on a piece of paper 100 times, like some people will tell you to do when you're doing law of attraction work, if you don't feel or don't have the confidence that is a possibility of your current moment, it's probably not going to work. You have to believe, and you have to feel that it's already there. The feeling is more important than the speech around it. The second thing we're going to do, and this is going to seem super out there. So this is the first time. So the teacher that I was working with for a while was the first person to ever bring this up to me. And I just thought it was the coolest magic. So I am so excited to tell you about A, and A stands for actions. So, it makes sense. I want something to happen. I'm going to take an action to make it happen. But the actions are really a little bit different. We're not going to go, I want $20,000 more dollars. So I'm going to go apply to a job on Wall Street and buy a bunch of cryptocurrency and have $20,000. Like, I'm not going to take a huge freaking step. Like, I'm not going to go, okay, let me go make $20,000 working for 20,000 hours in a row. Like, it's not something crazy, like super hard. We're going to take baby steps every day, a little step. So, I want $20,000 more dollars. So maybe one day I will, if it feels right, if it feels like it's going to work, or it's like kind of like you get that like gut groove feeling, you go, today I think I'm going to just like go on Craigslist and see if anyone needs like some really high pancakes. Or maybe the other day I just had this hit where I was like, I'm going to download Bumble for Business and see if there's any investor. Like, there might be a film investor on there that just like is interested in my project. So I was like, I'll just give that a shot. It doesn't have to be completely logical. And there might be days where you're sitting there and you're like, no, I do not want to do this. I do not want to go on Bumble Business. I don't want to reach out to anybody. That's okay. You don't have to. Instead, you can do something with the intention of getting it, and it doesn't even have to relate. So I'll give you an example. This probably seems a little like wild. So, and it's going to sound crazy, but I'm asking you, I think you should do it. Try it out, guys. It really works. So what I can do if I'm really not feeling it at all, which this week I think is one of those weeks. So like I haven't really been feeling, I'm like, oh, I don't want to manifest today. You know what you do instead? You go, I'm going to take this rock. And when I put this rock, I don't know, let's think. I'm going to put the rock down and I'm going to say, I am going to pick this rock up and hold it in my hand with the intention that I am moving towards, no, wait, I can't say moving towards, I'm sorry. I am picking up this rock with the intention of knowing what to do next now that I have $20,000. So you're still living in the $20,000 and you're just knowing, okay, actionable step time to essentially just grab what is mine. So like when I'm going to just like take it and I'm not sure where to go next. So I'm going to pick up this rock. And when I pick up this rock, I will know what to do next. Or that's one way you can do it. So like if you're trying to figure out where to go next, you can go, I don't know yet. And I'm going to find out when I pick up this rock. And you kind of just like tell the universe that this is the direction. Like you want to find out something with this action. So it doesn't have to actually be like an action related. So like sometimes if I don't know where to go next, I'll go, I'm going to go on a walk with the intention to know what to do next. And I'll just walk and go, I'm going to know what to do next after this walk. And when you put it out there to the universe, they'll tell you what to do next. It's really, really simple. It seems crazy, but all you got to do is ask for help and it comes back. So you can also do something like when I picked up this rock and now I have $20,000. So you can always just like add an action that doesn't even make sense, if that makes sense. Like it doesn't have to be like totally parallel, and it still works. My favorite is the walks, and sometimes I'll hold a stick because like I tend to think, there's all those like magic wand stuff. Like I tend to think that if you have like a long stick, it kind of gives all of like your guidance in the universe like a direction to go to. It's like a point. It's like, all right, everybody focus, come down. It's like a little, or like somebody standing on top of a mountain with like a big rod and lightning. Like it's kind of like that's your lightning rod. And you're like, all right, come tell me, what am I doing? So that always really helps me. I definitely recommend the manifesting walks, the abundance walks. So I'll just walk around and like, it's kind of like being in Fantasyland, but like not a bad way. So sometimes this pilot that I've been working on group, you guys all know about it. It's something that, I sometimes like, oh man, am I really going to get this greenlit? Like all those kind of things. And then I'm halfway there, but I'm not fully there. So then I go, I'm just going to go on a walk and feel it already being there. And I'm telling you, I went on a walk the other day and I got a $100 dresser that was like exactly what I needed for holding some of like the documents and stuff, because I have like all this paperwork and stuff for group already, and it's not even greenlit. And it was just this beautiful $100 dresser. Another time when I went on I think I mentioned this last week, I found $20. Like it's crazy. It really works. So if you're just like living in that jive and you're like, yeah, I have all the stuff that I need and I'm happy and I'm good, but you also don't want to get attached. So speech is S. So we've been over F, feelings, A, actions. Now we're going to go to speech. Whatever you talk about, and this is a hard one to swallow, hard pill to swallow. And I mean, today, man, did I ever speech some shit? I definitely time to speech some good. But we all do it. So never be hard on yourself. So whatever you talk about and you think about, you bring about. So this is why it's so important to watch what we're talking about and watch what we're thinking about, because I don't know about you guys, but there's a lot of times in my life that I talk about and I think about stuff that I don't want my presence. And then the other thing is when you live it in your speech and in your headspace, then you're living, if let's say it does happen in the physical space, then you lived it like 3 times. Why would you do that when you can only live it once? It's not good. And the diet isn't over. I know I said we're going on a diet for a week. It's not over. We still dieting, guys. We're going to be dieting for probably the rest of our lives. But it is much better than giving up ice cream. It's honestly harder, but I think it gets a little bit easier with time. So you just have to be really, really patient with yourself. So T, the final manifesting letter is T for thoughts. So instead of aligning your thoughts, we've talked a lot about thinking and having all these anxious thoughts and these like victim thoughts and these horrible, like the world's out to get me thoughts. And like, I've fallen into that a whole lot in my life. And I totally understand when it happens to you guys too, but we really want to start aligning our thoughts with the lives we want to live and only having those thoughts. So this might feel crazy, but there has been times, especially before I was more successful with my entrepreneurship, that I would like to my desk by myself. I would wear like a straight up suit. Like I would dress up so much just to go downstairs to my little dinky desk. And I would think and feel and act and talk like I was a big ass executive. And I was the executive of a staff meeting that included like my dog, my cat, maybe some people on Zoom if I like get them to like come look at me. Probably not though. Like sometimes I put my tarot cards out. It was like sad. It was a little psychotic, but you know, it's something where you really want everything to be in alignment like you already have it. So I do this on set a lot too. So like I was on set today, and set days are always fun days. And you know, it was a really fun set. And what I'll do when I'm on set a lot of times is just be in the feeling space and think like I'm on a big universal blockbuster, like a, you know, $100 million set. And I think it helps you get there. So something to keep in mind through all of this, which I've kind of mentioned before, is that one of the most important parts of the manifesting process is not the manifesting. It's more important to stay in peace, because automatically when you are in a good feeling space, you will manifest what you're supposed to have, and it will happen quicker. It's just that I think a lot of us like to have that tool and kind of like, we want a little bit of control sometimes, but you honestly don't need it. And the second hardest part, and this part just like totally it's very hard on a lot of us. And it's something that I've been working on myself for the last few years, and it's confidence. So if you have a big list of stuff you want to manifest and you don't think any of it's going to happen, like deep down, you're like, I can't do that. Then it's not going to happen. Like you have to really, really, really get that confidence. And I know that a lot of times to get to that confidence, you have to do a lot of deeping, because whereas confidence taken away from us, it's taken away from us from bullying and trauma and having screwed up parents or seeing a traumatic thing. A lot of trauma and the pandemic even has taken a lot of people's confidence, like what the media is saying. And really working through that confidence is an essential step in making this move forward. So I don't call this practice the law of attraction, because we attract all sorts of shit. Like, I mean, yes, we will be able to attract it more, but what's mostly important to know in this practice is that your thoughts, feelings, speech, and actions, whatever they will be, on your inside will be reflected in your everyday life. So if, you know, some days you have a bad day, and what's probably going to happen on your bad day, you know how everyone says everything comes in threes? You know, your thinking's off. You're like, God, I can't catch a break. Everything's going wrong all the time. You're not really like, you're just like hurrying and stuff. You're not really in peace. You're kind of thinking too much. And then, you get a flat tire, or like you get in a car accident, or then you find out you lose your job. And it's just like it keeps piling because we're not aware and we're not paying enough attention in the present moment. Whatever you think about, you bring about, and whatever you act like will come to you. So if you do absolutely nothing but just focus on having like the most badass mental health and like being as in your body and focused on peace and poise and joy for a month, this is going to sound crazy, but I guarantee you, if you did nothing but that, like I'm talking like, I guess you like eat, sleep, do your thing, but did nothing, you would probably be further along and closer to your true self and where your like true path is than if you were hustle culturing. I am super anti-hustle culture. I know I'm like an actress with a production company who's also producing 2 pilots and like buying a house. Like I know I do a lot of things, but I don't lose my peace for shit. Like my peace is first. So it's something where you really need to prioritize it to move forward. So at the top of every to-do list I have, I should have brought one up here with me. And let me tell you, I got some long to-do lists. Like they're I have like 2 pages usually. And I actually, ever since I started this practice, I get so much more done, thank God. But what I have at the top of the list is that peace is productive. Peace is positive. Peace is powerful. And I will get so much further if I lose my peace and I lose my stability and I like leave my body and I get all that shit done on my to-do list. It will all be like Mercury Retrograde baloney. Like it'll be like, you sent in the wrong paper and then you like emailed the wrong person. Like it doesn't flow. It's not effortless. But if you stay in that peace, and let's say there's been days that I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do anything. I do absolutely nothing. The next day, I could get done what I would usually have done if I was like hustle culture in like 3 days. So really prioritizing that and prioritizing your feelings is how to move forward. So something that's really exciting about this being a group is that manifesting in a group is exponentially more powerful than when you're alone. There is no greater force than having a very high vibrational group. So all of us right now together, we can work on manifesting what we want together. And that will be like kind of like a steroid manifestation session. Okay. So tonight, I'm going to lead everybody through a really easy, brief meditation on manifestation. I guess you could call it a meditation. So everyone's just going to close your eyes. And if you want to keep your eyes open, that's okay too. And I want you to think of one thing that you feel you need, even though you don't, because you have everything you need. But one thing that you would just like to manifest for fun. Not $1 million, not a Lamborghini, like something humble, but lovely and bright. With a good purpose and good intentions. So first, we're going to start with the feelings. How does it feel to have this? Because you already have it. Are we joyful? Is it a relaxing thing? Do you feel more safe? Maybe you feel relieved. Or you just feel elated, or like there's no more problems, or you just feel love. Because I can't believe I haven't said the word love yet today, but everything comes from love. So feel that. Now think thoughts as if you already have that. And staying in the feeling phase. So I know we usually don't want to think thoughts, but we're only thinking positive thoughts right now, and thoughts are very powerful. So we're going to give them some power. So I'm going to think really awesome thoughts about that. Maybe just like fantasize about like a situation I'd be in because of this thing, and just feel like all that love and joy. Now we're going to talk about it. Ooh, it's 9:30, so we're almost done. So talk as if you already have it. So, hey everybody, I'm greenlit. We did it. So just say like a sentence to straight up, I don't even care, like the wall. Or to me, I'm right here. And tell me what's going on. How is it that you have this awesome thing now? And then lastly, oh wait, we did speech, actions. So we went a little out of order, but I want you to just take a moment to kind of think about what would be an action that would feel good to do right now. Now, this action could be an intention. It could be, I don't know how to get to this place at all. That part's a little weird because it's like you're already there, but you're kind of like getting there too. So I'm still kind of sorting that out in my brain. So sometimes the way I'll put it is like, so I am, improving my relationship with my brother, let's say, as I pick up this rock. And as I picked up this rock, I decided what a random thought came into my head. So, everybody try that. So like, as you take a sip, I'm going to improve my relationship with my brother as I sip this. And the one thing that came to my head both times when I did it, for me, was text him that you appreciated his call earlier. And I was like, oh yeah, I don't know why I didn't do that yet. I should do that. So that is all for tonight. So I guess everybody, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoy manifesting with me. And as always, you can email me at, I don't know if my email's there, but feel free to DM me and I will send you my lesson plans. I will send you the meditations from this week or last week. I will send you anything, or if you have any questions or concerns. As always, thank you so much for coming, and any donations to my show, do go to my pilot group, which I've spoken on a few times, which is a sitcom that's promoting the destigmatization of mental health disorders and physical disabilities. So if that's something that interests you, just throw some money to the Venmo and I will transfer it right over and send you a receipt. So thank you very much for coming, everybody. It has been lovely. I am so blessed to have you all here with me this beautiful Tuesday night, and have a great evening.